Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Uh. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Shanair's moving around in the background. New
Sorry
Year,
about
same
that.
podcast, everybody. Welcome to this first episode of River City 93. Happy New Year's, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, happy Sober January. Whatever you're doing, wish you the best. It's great to see you guys. But joining me on the show is two of my coolest friends. We're going to talk about the schedule that dropped, some of the players that are signed for the Richmond Kickers, some of the players that have not come back for the Richmond Kickers. And to help me do all of that is Mr. Matt Myers and Shanier Durain II. How are you doing, guys?
Doing all right.
Not bad.
All right. I feel a little bad for you, Elliot, if we're up at the top of your coolest friends list. It's unfortunate, but
well, when it comes to soccer, you guys are up there. I mean, I literally do a podcast with y'all, almost 40 times half a year? At some point, we have to be friends to do this. We can't.
I wasn't debating. I'm going for the coolest piece. And then you say we do 40 podcasts a year. It's like, yeah, if we're your coolest friends, we got a problem here.
We can't be like, as long as we don't get to the point where we're like Skip and Shannon and they do a show and you can tell they visibly hate each other, I think we're good.
I mean, there's many other reasons why we should not want to be at that point.
Yeah, no.
Minus absolutely.
Yeah. If we get the paychecks, I'll pretend I hate y'all as much as I need
to. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Get that kind of check for doing the show. We're like, yeah, you know what? Might have to happen. But talking about paychecks, man, a couple of Richmond Kicker players got paid in the offseason. Some in the good way, some in the bad way. So I'm assuming let's just go ahead and start with the roster. So we finally have a full 11. We have 11 players to our roster, so we can name a full team sheet, which is a good thing. So we got Akira back, Nathan Ani, Dakota Bar-Nathan, Simon Fitch back, Michael Hornsby. Is that last name? Yeah, Michael Hornsby as the left back. He comes from Fuego. Midfield, you got O'Dwyer, Neal, Jao Gomario, who's a new signing from NCF Fusion 2. Of course, Terzaghi is back, Bentley is back, and Gordon is back as well. First initial thoughts on the roster, guys. What are you guys thinking? How are you feeling so far about the first 11 that's signed so far to the Kickers?
I'm patiently and hopefully waiting for more. I think I never really felt that a starting 11 was ever really a Kicker's issue. It was depth, and we've had bad luck with it in the past. We've had situations where we literally lose every single player that we absolutely need to injury. But at this point right now, I like what I see, and I can kind of see that Darren is trying to keep the same system that he had going, but I need depth. I need to see almost every position have maybe two players that could get on the field and perform. I can understand you're going to have a downgrade with secondary players, with squad players, but it shouldn't be a big downgrade. And I'm really hoping that Darren's going to pull out that Rolodex and keep us going.
Yeah. Matt, what's your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I think it's a good start. Did the podcast, before Christmas, kind of going through the first 5 signings, which included the big one that, I think we all really just realized we needed back because guy who can put in 15 plus goals a year. They don't grow on trees, so getting that in there, and yeah, it's great to have 11 players. I don't think this is our starting 11 by any means. I think some of the guys that will still be announced are going to be able to fight for spots, especially in the midfield. I think there's plenty of room for opportunity there, but I think Darren's done a good job of really establishing the spine of the team early. You got Akira, you got Dakota and Ani, center back pairing as of right now that we saw on more than a few occasions last year, including in the Open Cup game. You got Neil in there, and then you got Emmy up top, and Gordon and Bentley. Those are two established League One wing pieces right now. I think Bentley had 6 last year, and Gordon had I want to say 5 goals.
I think so. I want to say that's about right.
Yep.
I mean that's a lot of offensive production. Of course, we're going to need depth, and that's going to come. I mean, clearly we're not starting the season with 11 players. There's going to be another set of at least 11 more guys coming in. Some as reserves, some to fight for starting spots. But so far, I feel pretty good. The core of the core of the team that I think was realistic to come back is almost all back.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way I feel about it. I do want to say I appreciate that the first 11 signings makes a starting 11, so that's good. But no, I do agree with you. I think there's a good mixture of day one starters in there. I think there's a couple of guys that are depth option. I think that's probably Dwyer, Fitch, maybe Zhao, depending on how you look at him. Like we talked about it earlier, Matt. I think he might be the Ethan replacement. You're looking at him as more of the backup to Neil. He can do both jobs. It just kind of depends on how else Richmond goes about making their signings. I think the bigger outlay about it is a lot of guys have re-signed multi-year contracts. I think Neil has one. Emmy has one.
Dakota definitely.
Dakota. I think Ani's another. Maybe Hornsby. I got to double check, but I think at least 5 guys have one.
I want to say Simon, had mentioned his press release as well, but
so it might be 6 then. But that's compared to years past where we're getting out of the realm of pretty much you have to blow up a roster to rebuild it the next year with 24-ish new signings. Some guys come back or whatever, but a lot that's going to be reduced coming into next year where you maybe don't have to make 6 or 7 or so. You get what I'm saying? It reduces that number a little bit just because guys are now signing these multi-year contracts. It also tells you Darren and Mika are doing something right. So it's good to see them all coming back. On the flip side of that, we had a couple of guys leave the club. So Austin Kazi, Christian Molina, Matt Boduk, Leonardo Baima officially were let go by the club. They said so in the statement. I'm assuming because we know other guys haven't signed back yet. I'm assuming these guys had an option and it just wasn't picked up by the club.
Yeah, that's the way I read that. Is that there was a possibility, but the team didn't take up the pre-existing option. Because there's other guys that will talk about that have already decided to go elsewhere where it just wasn't mentioned.
Right. So, okay, so I want to ask you guys this point. If Richmond's not picking up the option, do you think it's just a thing of if we picked up the option, we're overpaying? We want you back, but we want you on a newer team, healthier option contract? Or do you think it's just a thing of we're just not going to pick up your option because we think we can get better somewhere else?
That's a good question. I think with a club like Richmond Kickers, where we are in terms of our size, in terms of financially, I think it's a wait and see type of situation. Mm-hmm. Basically, just kind of, we're not going to say yes. Let's feel it out. Let's see what options we have. We know, and like I keep saying, we know Darren's got contacts. His contact list is long. He can see if he can find something that will be a better fit financially, chemistry-wise, skill level-wise, whatever. There are many options out there, and I think they just want to make sure they cover all bases before they say yes to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, there you go, man.
I mean, I think that's pretty reasonable. Just basically they made the guys free agents, and it doesn't mean that they couldn't pop back up. I don't know if it's realistic to expect any of them to show back up, but it could be the financial piece. It could be the hey, we want to see if we can upgrade first before we commit to you piece. It also could be a situation where they ask for their option not to be picked up because they want to go explore something else. And I don't think Darren's the kind of guy who wants somebody around who doesn't want to be around. So he'd probably say, "Yeah, okay then."
Yeah, I mean, no, you're very right, very much right on that. It just seems as if like, those some of those guys weren't core pieces. There were pieces around the team. You saw him get some minutes. Anyone out of that group? I mean, I know the obvious answer is Matt, but anyone else you think that we're gonna slightly miss, or be like, dang, it'd be cool to have him around? Nah. Okay. Matt's face was like, nah, I don't think so. And Shadir's like, oh, maybe, there's some weird play where you can put Leo Bima on the right wing and have him cross balls in.
Yeah, that was the only one that I was looking at that I felt it'd be nice to have him around because he did okay, and he did have a couple of electric moments, and every once in a while you need those in a season to make sure there's still entertainment value when you're resting some of your key players, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss for all of them. Another one that I would have liked to stay for sentimental reasons was Austin, with that being the second generation playing for the Kickers pro team. That would have been nice, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know where his development has been going, and whether they've been happy with his development or not, or whether he has been happy with his role at the club. We don't know. So,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if that's a situation where he, said, "Hey, I don't want to sit for a third year in a row. I want to go find somewhere to play."
Yeah.
In which I don't blame him at that. I don't blame him for being like, yo, I want to go play, because he's 21. I think he came here when he was 19. And I know last year he ended the year with an injury to his wrist and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, in the ideal world, I would have liked us to re-sign him and then put him out on loan. I know we got a good relationship with Lionsbridge. Could have put him there, see how you do. But hey, it worked. It didn't work out, obviously. So hope wherever he goes, he plays well, and I hope it's not against Richmond, as always.
I wouldn't even classify it as it didn't work out. Could have worked well to give him good professional training for a couple of years. Give somebody for a cure to kind of get his feet wet. With being a keeper coach
and stuff. Yeah,
and worked well for both sides, and now they're both sides have different objectives, and moving on from different directions, and doesn't mean that it couldn't reconnect in the future if things progress for Austin, and if once Akira retires after he's like 60 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to not have my ADHD kick in during the podcast, but while you were speaking, I got distracted by the lights that's going on behind you there, because they're flickering in and out.
Still Christmas time there.
Shadir, do you still have your tree up?
We officially turned it into an annual tree.
God. So what is it now? So what's the decoration on there now?
We've got stuff for Valentine's Day. We literally put those up today. So
wait. Hey, we just skipped all of January? You could have put us a Black History stuff, Martin Luther King.
Right.
President's
Holiday
Day,
week.
something.
It's a holiday weekend.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not a holiday weekend for me, which is the sucky part. Yeah, but
Yeah. Ooh.
No, it's still a holiday weekend. Your employer just ain't with it.
Yeah. Like Martin Luther King.
No, my
you gotta
employer is
work.
basically saying, my employer is basically saying, yeah, everyone's home, so they're gonna come here. We're staying open.
You want today off? Nah, big boy. You gotta work. you gotta get these checks.
Yeah.
All right, my fault. Not trying to make
That was
the
first fun aside of the year.
Yeah,
hey, we got to keep it going. We got to keep the tradition going.
It's going to happen. All right, but we had what? To my calculation, we had 3 players leave the club, officially go join other clubs. So let's start off with, I'm calling him a traitor. Stephen Payne, he leaves to go to Fort Madison. Jalen Crisler leaves to go to One Knox. And Ethan Bryant officially got transferred to Sporting KC 2. It was just the MLS Next club for Sporting KC in the main side. So let's start off with Stephen Payne. What attracts him to Fort Madison? What would attract him?
Never heard of this guy.
Yeah, I don't know him.
I'm not gonna. When I saw it came through, my first thought was Fort Madison is just chucking money at anything right now to not have a repeat of last year.
Probably.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I can't. It's a club I don't want him to go to, but I'm never going to fault a guy at this level for going to go get a bigger payday. And realistically, we know the limitations of Richmond when it comes, like, in terms of paying. Like, Richmond's not going to be one of the clubs that's pay top dollar, a lot. And they can't, you can't, especially when, you're paying what? I'm assuming you're already paying big bucks towards Chizagi, Neil, and Akira. Like, you're already paying big bucks there. Are you going to spend big bucks on a left back? I mean, on the right back? Probably not. All right. He goes to Fort Madison where they had a terrible season. Why not put the money in there?
Look, here's my way I'm thinking about it. He had such a good time celebrating there. He probably just associates that field with good things happening and didn't really do his research.
Yeah. It's good things happen to people who go there, not people who are there. So I don't know. I kind of agree with you, Elliot. It's like, if at this stage you can't really fault a guy for looking for a bigger payday. Like, when we look at, for example, if we were MLS level, if these guys are getting MLS paid, you're thinking to yourself, you're making enough to live comfortably here. Why would you go to the rivals? Why would you put that headache on yourself in terms of the reception you would get from a fan base? And which is why it doesn't happen very often. But at this stage, it's one of those things. He's looking to he's looking to get paid a little more. And at the end of the day, at the level that these guys are getting paid at this level, USL League One, you can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, what, he's 25. I honestly thought he was going to the championship. I was like, yeah, he's going to he's going to USL championship, but obviously not. He's sticking around in USL League One. So we'll see how he do with a head coach that is notorious for throwing his players underneath the butts, like he did.
Yeah, and the other, I mean, it sucks that he left because he was a good contributor last year. But if there's been one mostly consistent thing, because you'll understand why I'm hedging on this right away. Darren's been pretty good about finding right backs who can fit his system pretty well. You had Antley, who, if he when he was healthy, killer out there.
Yeah.
Had
Yes.
Payne, who, was pretty similar. Didn't, had a lot of wheels. Still somehow slower than Antley, but he was pretty, solid. Definitely chipped in some assists. So we know what the profile is that he likes out there. He's already found a couple of them. What's to say he's not going to be able to find another one? But also, as of right now, we have Simon who can play out there who, did contribute, especially during that time when Payne lost his damn mind last year and got himself benched for a good month.
Yeah.
Oh, he really did. He really did. Man, that was a horrible game, that Fuego game.
Yeah, we don't talk about that game. We don't talk about that game.
That game was horrible, man. Because I think, like, collectively, all of us were just at a certain point. We were like, at the 20th minute, we was like, yo, this game doesn't count. It's 9 versus 11. I think at one point we had Neil playing center back or something. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. Another player that moved to a newly promoted club is Jalen Chrysler. He joins One Knox. Pretty much it's kind of the same thing I'm thinking. Like One Knox. Oh, if you look at how One Knox just came into the league, they're not looking to just sit around and kind of wait it out. They're looking to challenge at the top of the table early on. But I'm always going where Matt signed. I'm thinking when it comes to signing players in USL League One of none of us have heard of these guys before, so we don't know how they're going to play. But we all treat them like Ballon d'Ors recipients. But yeah, One Knox just seems kind of be doing the same thing as Fort Madison. It's just they're paying a lot of money into that starting 11, and then whatever left over goes into the bench. Kind of seemed like the MO there.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that he had left. He seemed to be a Darren guy through and through.
Yeah.
Another Washington guy. We talked about that before. For a while there seemed like an endless pipeline of Washington State to Richmond. So thought he might have wanted to stick around here, but guess not. But what can you do?
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this question, and we don't have to stay super long on it, but do you think Jalen might have felt as if I've done everything I can in Richmond, let me go get that quote unquote big payday somewhere else? And One Knox was just a team that was like, yo, we'll pay you top dollar to come here and play?
Hadn't done everything.
Yeah.
Another factor that I was thinking about with regards to Chrysler is I don't know what the situation is at One Knox, but he probably is looking at the situation as I am an established starting 11. Unless Darren were to switch to a back three, you've got 3 guys that can hold 2 positions with Ani, Dakota, and Chrysler. So if Knox County is really pushing to challenge, first of all, he's probably going to be getting paid more. Secondly, unless they're going and getting a whole bunch of center backs at his level, he's probably guaranteed starting 11 week in, week out. As opposed to with the kickers, 1 week he might be dropped for Dakota or he might be dropped for Ani.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, they're telling us in the last 2 years it said he was going to get dropped unless he fell off a cliff.
Well, true, but we did see a rotation of those 3 guys throughout the season, especially when Ani got injured and Dakota really started to play center back more, because before when Dakota first got there, we knew he was a center back, but he was mostly playing defensive mid.
Yeah,
he was mostly coming in as a defensive mid for Zaka. Yeah.
Yeah, because he just started the year hurt, so Dakota would come in and start, and then Dakota got dropped for a little bit, and it would be Jalen and Ani, and then Ani got dropped so then with Dakota, and I don't know, it was weird. It was a weird triangle.
But there's almost always Jalen in there, though.
Yeah, it was always Jalen. Like it might be one game Jalen didn't start, but I think at that point, I think it was like a rotational thing where we had like 3 games in a week. Jalen started
just giving him a rest.
Yeah, just gave him
but
one game.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at it, you see all three of them performed well last season.
Yeah,
And who knows what's happened off season? Who knows what's happened during the off season and what you know a lot of them felt was projected for this year, because these are factors that they also take into consideration. They're looking at, all right, where does it look like these players are going to be by next season? Will the race be closer between the three of them, or does Chrysler or Dakota or Ani have a cemented spot? We don't know. So that could also be a factor in terms of
yeah.
him just making sure he's playing his cards right and saying, if I want, I feel I can get guaranteed starting 11 weekend. We got it at one Knox while I'm competing for a spot with two other guys.
I don't know. I think if you're coming off of a first team all league performance and you're worried about the competition from your own team, there's a mentality issue then, in which case, good riddance.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be a mixture of anything. It could be money. It could be like I'm getting this starting spot here, and I'm getting big time payday. But we'll all see. We'll see how that works. I think let's get to the last one that I think we're all excited for. And somebody we're definitely going to be rooting for is Ethan Bryant going to Sporting KC 2. Any thoughts on this move? Like, is this the next logical step for Ethan to eventually become a part of the Weston McKinney, Tyler Adams, and Musa midfield?
It might be a bit much, but
Look, one can dream. Okay, my thought process is 2026. He's starting, and I can just say, I watched him in Richmond. That's what I want. That's my dream. But yeah, well, is this the next logical step for Ethan? And what do we think is going to happen for him?
I don't think it's a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still really young. He's what, 20 or 21 still?
Yeah,
like that. So I think this is the right time to bet on yourself, take a shot at getting into an MLS ecosystem, and trying to power your way through that way. I'm not even going to pretend like I have any idea what like the MLS KC depth chart looks like in the midfield right now. But
they probably don't have one till literally the week before.
But if he performs well there, that could be a waiver to get him into the first team potentially. And we've seen this before with other guys taking that kind of step forward, going to MLS 2 team back when they were in the USL system, and trying to use that as a way to step up. I mean, Aaron Long's the number one example of that. He washed out with the Sounders, signed with Red Bull 2, and worked all his way up to making a World Cup team that way. So there's precedent they're on a certain level, but I don't mind this one. This is fine. I'm never going to have to worry about playing against them in this setting. And B, we got a little bit of money out of it.
Yeah. Real quick, so Sporting Kansas City finished 8th last year in the Western Conference of MLS Next Pro. So didn't make the playoffs. So I'm imagining there's a lot of reshuffling of players. So he's obviously going to get, I'm assuming he's going to get some kind of playing time there. But that aside, man, I think you're right. Like, I think the most important thing is Richmond got some money out of it. It is not like the deal for God, his name is escaping me right now. What's his name that went to Real Monarchs?
Gallardo?
Yes. Where we got like $7,000 and we were like, really? That's it? Oh God, I hated it so much.
Still better than zero.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but you could have got something more for that. At least 10. But yeah, it's good to see that, we got some good money for Ethan Bryant. Now, per club policy, which I hate, we don't know how much that transfer fee is for, but I'm assuming you guys are agreeing with me, there has to be something in that transfer deal about like incentives or, if he gets called up to the first team in X amount of time, Richmond gets this back. So, I mean, it looked like an overall win for the Kickers, despite losing one of the key pieces from last year's championship team.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping they're smart enough to try and put something like that in, because at the end of the day, with someone as young as Ethan Bryant, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where he's going to end up, and if we don't cement a means of profiting from that now, I mean, then that's bad business. Like Matt said, I'm happy for Ethan, because it's an opportunity for him to get to that next level, to push forward into that next level. But it's just with what he provided for us last season, it kind of hurts to see him go. It's rough to see him go, because man, was he good. He was really good for us, and if he was staying another year and we had that midfield three locked down again for another year, who knows how much more insane he would have been this season.
Sure. Yeah, I think the other big benefit of him going, moving, in this direction is it helps to point, towards, hey, if you're a young guy who's maybe, stuck in a bad spot, right now, like he was, kind of stuck, buried in San Antonio before he came to us. You can use, Richmond as, kind of a, career, launching point. You can kind of almost say the same thing with Payne. Hey, come to Richmond, ball out, and you can move your way up, or you can get paid off, or whatever the case may be. And hopefully, if that starts to become the reputation, we'll continue to get these quality of guys coming in, because Darren's showing that, hey, you come here, you come to Kickers, you'll get a chance to show out, and you show out, it's a win-win for everybody, because we'll do well on the field. You'll get the contracts that you really want, whether it's here or somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we got for the roster support. Of course, more signings are going to be coming in over the course of the first kickoff is March 19th. So we're about almost 2 months away from the first game kicking off against Charlotte Independence. So on the flip side of this, we're going to talk about the schedule. But real quick, we're going to take a break. And welcome back from that commercial break. If you're watching on video, I know that was a weird 5-second pause. If you're watching on podcast, welcome back. Just adding that out there. But yeah, guys, we got the schedule that released finally. So USL did the home openers first, and then we got the schedule, and we did the home openers, and they said April 1st. I was like, oh, this is a joke. Because everyone else home opener is like March 19th, March, like whatever. Why is that so late? Comes to find out, Richmond's on the road for the first 2 games of the year, against Charlotte, against Greenville. So obviously we're opening the season with 2 playoff teams. But our first home game was against Charlotte at home. Guys, is this a tough kind of opening 3 weeks for the Richmond Kickers, with Charlotte and then Greenville sandwiched in between? Well, hold on. Before you answer that, I'll give you the first 5 games. So we end with the end of the month of April. So Saturday, March 18th, on the road against Charlotte. Saturday, March 25th, I believe that's Greenville's opener, on the road in Greenville. April 1st, our home opener against Charlotte Independence. April 15th, we're at home against Northern Colorado. And then April 29th, we go back. It's kind of like a weird Super Cup match between USL Cup winners and the USL regular season winners of South Georgia Tormenta and Richmond Kickers. So those are the first 5 games to start the year with. First initial thoughts of how those first 5 games are difficult for the Richmond Kickers as well.
when I look at the first three, I'm looking at Charlotte Independence. I'm not very familiar with what business they've done so far, but they were struggling a bit last season. They were a bit up and down. They lacked consistency, and towards the end, they lacked organization. If of course it's the beginning of the season, we're going clean slate, so who knows? But if what we saw of these two teams last year is anything to go by, I feel that these three games are doable. I can see the first three games going up until the home opener. We can go into the home opener with maybe 4 points.
Okay, man, what you think, bud?
Yeah, it's a weird schedule. Charlotte twice in the first 3 games. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Be the first game at the new Greenville Stadium because they're moving from their old crappy little high school turf field to a big crappy college football stadium turf field instead. So who knows how that'll play? Who knows what no coach is going to look like?
Yeah.
Tormento away might be tough, but it's always challenging because we never really know what a team is going to look like year to year in USL. Because as we've talked about earlier, there's so much turnover. Like, there's some guys that come back, but there's going to be a lot of guys on these rosters where they're just names on a piece of paper to all of us right now. We aren't going to have any idea if they're legit or if they're just absolute trash. So
Yeah.
On that level, not thinking about too much. The thing on the schedule that was interesting to me is I think there's 2 bye weeks in there. That's screaming out to me, hey, practical scheduling to build around the Open Cup so that way we're not running guys to death, like it happened last year, where it was like 3 out of 4 weeks with a midweek game.
Yeah, I think the start of the season was just like that. I think there was like a 4-week stretch where it was like Open Cup, USL League One, Open Cup, USL. So yeah,
There's a lot. So that'll help to alleviate some of that. Assuming that Open Cup goes at all well for us.
Yeah. How do you got? What is your? We don't know anything about like who's in it or not. But what do you guys think would be a good U.S. Open Cup run for the team? Obviously, last year I think we got you played 3 games in the U.S. Open Cup?
We got to the. I just call it MLS round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that the expectation for this club to get to the MLS round, or at least to a higher tier U.S. Championship club?
I think the goal should always be to get a crack at an MLS team.
Okay.
Right. Let's be real. Is there going to be any real allure? If we're playing a championship team,
Yeah.
is anybody really going to care? It's like, we drew. Who's some random USL championship,
like a Louisville or a Detroit.
Hartford.
Yeah.
Big deal. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? But you're looking at MLS club that's definitely a bigger allure than looking at championship team, because I think USL itself, from a casual fan, is all under one umbrella, whether it's Championship, League One. I mean, for a casual fan, League Two isn't even on their radar. But so it looks like, oh well, it's the same league, so whatever. But MLS, that's something else. So it is a bigger draw when you have an MLS club.
Yeah. All right. I mean, obviously, we'll know more about the U.S. Open Cup as the season comes along. So definitely keep an eye out for that. The way how the schedule works out is what we have. Doing my math right, we have 11 teams. Yeah. No.
Yes.
Make sure
We got 12 teams in the league, so 11
yeah,
opponents.
there we go. 12. That's right. We have 12 in the team because obviously FC Tucson left. So what is it? 32 games, 32 game schedule. You play every team 3 times, and you play one team 4 times, Matt? Is that how it works?
Every team 3 times except for one, you play them twice. So we only played Knoxville twice.
Okay, so we're gonna play. Okay. So let me ask this: why not just make it 33 and you play everybody 3 times?
Do you want the extra away game?
I mean, no, but I don't know. It just would have made more sense just to go 33 and just have everyone be competitively balanced.
It's not competitively balanced though, because some teams are playing 17 home games and some teams are playing 16 home games. And
Oh, okay. This is why you're on the show, Matt, because my brain doesn't do math like that.
Yeah,
There you go. Okay.
I mean, I get what you're saying, on a certain level, but yeah, it's just as easy just to say each team, all right, chop one of the bonus games off.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we won't get a truly fair schedule until we get 14 or whatnot. Like, what makes it?
Yeah, maybe 14. Yeah, I would say.
Well, 14. Do we want to make this a math podcast?
No, because I don't have the capacity for it. Someone, I can't do that.
But the easiest number would be 16 teams play each team twice, and that'd be 30 games.
Okay, so there we go. Bingo. That's what we need. So we need to find, because you got Santa Barbara coming in next year and Spokane, so that's 14. So we need to find 2 other Ponzi schemes to have join USL League One so we can get this to work.
Yeah, so
that's what we need. So that's how the schedule is looking out, guys. From a fan perspective, if you had an unlimited budget, what's the one away day that you're taking and why?
Ooh.
For me, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably One Knox.
Oh, okay, that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, I'll probably take the One Knox shirt.
Where you go? Let me pull the schedule back up. Where'd it go?
And probably I could also
I think
to paying for my food and be like, I remember seeing you when nobody rooted for you, sir. Now you got the big bucks.
Okay, so I want to cheat a little bit here on this, but there's 2 potential road trips that I would have my eye on.
Okay.
One, going out to Colorado June 7th, and then hitting Fuego June 10th. I mean, I know stuff's not that close together out west, but you'll be able to kind of do a general Western vacation swing and go through the mountains and make your way out to California.
Yeah, that's not bad.
The other one,
yeah.
September 9, September 14, Omaha, and then Madison. A lot more drivable. Do a little Midwest swing.
Hold on. You said Omaha, Madison. Who was the third team?
No, just those 2.
Oh, it's just those
Omaha on a Saturday, then Madison on the Thursday. So make a week out of corn country.
Yeah, that's not too bad. You get to see 2 good games, so that's not too bad. What you got, Shanair?
I was gonna go with the same as you. One Knox. I don't know. I can't even really say why. It's just with them being the new team, there's going to be a new energy there. And before any team, I am a fan of the game first and the atmosphere, and fan bases are always interesting to me. It would be a good opportunity to see.
I'm gonna keep it a band with you. I don't care about the soccer. I'm just purely going to see Neyland Stadium and eat some of their wings. That's it. That's 100% the reason why I'm going.
The wings is a big draw.
That's mainly it.
Is Tennessee known for chicken wings?
Well, Nashville. Nashville hot wings.
Okay, that's not anywhere close.
No. But I'm saying, I'm assuming that Knoxville has some good wings. Also, it's a college town. I know there's somewhere there that's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going
I understand.
on that level, I feel like Lexington's a much better choice than Knoxville.
Oh, dang. Darn it. I forgot about Lexington's coming in here because you can also get some good bourbon.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, you know what? It might be Lexington. It might be Lexington.
I mean, you also get your SEC town there.
Yeah, we don't really care about University of Kentucky. By the time USL League One starts up, Kentucky might be already knocked out of the NCAA tournament, so it really don't matter. I'm
just hating on Coach Cal like that.
I'm not hating on him. I haven't watched college basketball like this. Like college basketball doesn't start for me till the tournament. But I'm assuming Kentucky's not any good. I'm probably saying all this. They're probably ranked number 1 or something crazy like that.
No,
I know they just beat Tennessee too.
Yeah,
I saw Lexington go at One Knox about it, so that was kind of funny. So also for fans who didn't know, Lexington is new. One Knox is coming up from USL League 2, and we lost FC Tucson. So I'm just mentally preparing myself for the amount of Richmond Kickers supporters that are like, how will this new team beating us? Because they spent a lot of money. And
Hold on. Why do you think they're going to beat us?
Well, I'm not saying that they are.
Why are you a hater?
I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying.
You already just chalked up L's on the schedule. 32-0, 96-point season. That's what's up.
Let's go.
I want it. 32-0. 32-0.
Maybe 94 points. Might be a 0-0 draw somewhere in there where it just doesn't happen that day.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's gonna be that one game when Emmy's just like
It'll probably be Chattanooga.
It'll be his yellow card suspension day.
All right, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and take this bet now. What game would it be? Like, what number game would it be where Emmy gets suspended for his double yellow card? Because it's always around like that 20th, 23rd game where Emmy misses a game just for yellow card accumulation.
You know what? Let's run it back again. He's gonna skip the Madison game again. It's late in the season. It's game number.
Yeah, it's late in the season. So I don't know why they keep doing that to us, but yeah.
That's probably going to be it that he's going to miss, which is going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious. Also,
Emmy don't work on Thursdays.
Yeah, no. He'll work on a Friday on Cinco de Mayo, but he ain't gonna work. He ain't gonna work that Thursday. One last thing I want to ask you guys this, man, is what are your early thoughts? Obviously, we haven't seen the rest of the roster yet, so we won't get too deep into it. But like right now, if you had to pin the Richmond Kickers somewhere on the list between 1 through 12, where do you have the Kickers at right now?
As of right now, if I had to guess, where are they going to finish at the end of the year? Or where do I think the roster
where
is compared to everybody else at this moment?
Where do you think they're going to finish at the end of the season?
With what we have now?
Yeah. I know it's hard to do because you only got the 11, but just, where do you think?
Give me a solid, respectable third place.
Okay.
I was gonna say third or fourth. Yeah.
I can be talked in the third, but I'm feeling like fourth or fifth right now.
Okay. What's holding you back?
I really want to see who does he bring in to be the replacement for Bolaños. And I want to see who he brings in to be the replacement for Bolaños, but also, does Darren change up the way how he attacks? Does he go kind of revert back to year one Richmond, where it's kind of very direct, route one, get the ball to Emmy, everyone else get out the way? Or is it kind of the myriad of what we saw last year, where you got Bolaños getting in behind, you got Bentley kind of playing in those half spaces, Emmy kind of flowing in between that. Is he sticking with that, or is he kind of changing it just based on who he brings in? So that's right now. I think this team is good enough to be in a playoff spot. And I also think that this team, I think the expectation is still have a home playoff game.
See, I'm not worried about the attack as of right now because
no. The attack doesn't worry me. I'm just wondering, like, do you keep the same style? Like, try to just boot it to Bolaños out in the wing and go from there.
I'm trying to think of who else in the league might have, again, as of today, an attack that matches up, with ours. Maybe Tormenta, you could argue, but you got, a proven front three, Emmy, Bentley, Gordon, right? Those guys have all proved at this level. You got Neal, who's a proven playmaker at this level, so I think that's a really, really strong foundational piece for the attack. For me, the midfield is the only thing that's, holding me back from, propping these guys up higher. Want to see a little bit, more proven quality in there. So that's the question mark area on the field for me at the moment.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. So, I mean, it's a good thing to think about. Just ask yourself, fans, like, where do you see this team realistically at, and whatnot, and go from there. Guys, it's good to do this podcast with y'all. I've missed this. I think the last one we did was kind of on a sour-ish end note last year, so it's good to get back and talk about good things.
It's good to have the optimism back in play. We don't know what the future will bring for the team, but
it's the hope that kills you.
Well, I mean, if you look basically over the past 3 years with the tenure of Darren Sawatsky, it's been an upward trajectory since he signed, and I think, and we talked about it at the end of last season. When Darren got the job, he said, to get this team to where we need it to be, it's going to be a 3-year project. And boy, were we on schedule. So now after that, now we're established. Now we've established where we need to be. Now can we use this as a launching pad to go further?
Yeah.
I think Darren's the guy for it, and I think he's going to give us another good year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Any last things from you, Matty boy?
No, I mean, I think there's reason to be excited. I mean, we're a little over 2 months from start of a new season, a longer season. More soccer is good. And ready to get going. Ready, not just for the more player announcements, ready for the preseason, schedule announcement, ready for the uniform drop, all the news.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the uniform drop. By the way, do we know when the preseason schedule is going to drop? Like, do we have any inclination on when that's? I'm assuming it's going to be after this weekend coming up, where we have the pro day. But any thought? Any things?
No idea.
All right. I didn't know if anything leaked or anything. Because I saw championship teams were kind of like dropping theirs, and sometimes you can kind of see if the kickers are there or not, but I haven't seen anything as far. And obviously, it's not going to be in the MLS teams because they're going to start it. I think their season starts end of February.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So
starting earlier.
Yeah. So
but with all the teams they got adding on every year, they definitely need to start earlier if they want to finish in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's true. So for my guys, from Shanir and Matt, I'm Elliot. It's been a pleasure doing this podcast. We look forward to going into year 5. Year 5, guys. River City 93. As always, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment. Check out our website, rivercity93.com. I didn't mention it at the beginning of the podcast. I should have. I'll do better at that. Make sure you go there to check out our articles that we write. We got some good articles out there, like how does Matt Bentley kind of work in his second year of the team? Or why is it Karen in the top 15 of greatest kickers players of all time? So make sure you check out those articles. As always, you can check out the podcast coming to you on Mondays and on YouTube at River City 93. Well, for that, guys, we will holler at y'all next time. Be easy, be safe. See ya.